Okay, so for those of you who, before I start the video, right, before I get into what I want to talk about, I will have a link in the description of a video I made pretty much about a year ago, just past a year ago, right? It's a video that came out after it was announced by MLB that MLB TheShow, the game that was once a PlayStation exclusive, was going multiplat. And I talked about how more than likely this was a decision made by MLB and the Players Association, because obviously for the longest time MLB had the exclusive license to the show, mainly because it was really mainly because the last remaining baseball game, MLB 2K, I forgot what was the last year. It was dying a death. 2K didn't want to invest in the game anymore, and MLB became really the only show in town for the longest time when it comes to baseball games, right? So it never came out, but I and a lot of people pretty much assumed that if it wasn't for this deal that Sony made with MLB, that a company like EA or 2K or any other major third party publisher was going to gain the rights to the game, to the license, to the MLB license, and start making baseball games. And frankly, I personally didn't want that. So despite my feelings on exclusivity, I thought that it was ultimately the right decision for Sony and MLB to keep the license in order for the developers, which is Sony San Diego, to continue making baseball games, right? And I still stand by that. But what I'm not going to stand for is what happened today, right? And I need to explain this because I don't care what people think about me. I really don't. But I don't want people thinking this thing about me or that thing about me without getting the full story of why I feel this way and why my position is such, right? So for those of you who only watch this video and have come to that conclusion, I will link the first video in the description. It's a long video, but you'll get the idea, you'll get the gist of what I mean by that, right? Now, what happened today is there was an announcement that MLB The Show 21 is coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, right? And on its face, it's another game that's coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. But the problem that I have with this is what do your loyal PlayStation and MLB fans, what do they get for that, right? Because this is me. This affects me to its core. Now some people will be like, oh well, Huvi, you don't have to worry about you gonna buy the game regardless. Well, let's hold off on that for a second. Let me go on about this real quick, right? So Xbox users are going to get the game for what? For $10, right? How much you like? I have Game Pass. Like, for those of you who think that I hate Game Pass, I don't hate Game Pass. I have Game Pass, right? It is the best deal in gaming. All the PlayStation guys that I know, the vast majority of them are not feeling Game Pass. I get their concerns about Game Pass, but at the end of the day, it is the best deal in gaming, right? I think I signed up for $1. I get charged $15 a month for it, right? All right, cool. Like they get the game for however much you pay for Game Pass a month, right? What do PlayStation gamers get? What do we get for it? Now, there are two potential reasons why this happened, right? Now the first reason, the first reason is that maybe it has to do with MLB, because someone pointed this out on Twitter that the publisher of this game, of the game on Xbox, is actually MLB and not Sony, right? And that may very well be true, but if you're Sony, right, you have an obligation to give your gamers the best place to play games, right? Regardless of what happens, regardless of what happens behind the scenes, this and that, your job is to give your players the best place to play their game. That's the reason why I always push back on this narrative that when they were out buying exclusive third-party deals, buying third-party items and shit like that, like the stuff was going on with Call of Duty and the maps and shit like that. When everybody was complaining and bitching about that, I was over here saying, good. I was happy that they were doing it. Why? Because at the end of the day, they are giving their customers, and those are, and this is very key. It's very key of what I'm trying to say, and I've been saying this for the longest time. The people who Sony are supposed to appease is not the random fuckboy playing on PC, or the random Xbox dude who wants to go on Twitter and bitch and complain about everything PlayStation. The people who you're supposed to cater to are the people who are willing to go out and buy your fucking PS3s, buy your fucking PS4s, to buy your PS5s, right? Those are the people you have to appease. Those are the people you have to make deals for. And I don't know what happened with the MLB deal, but the fact that Xbox gamers gets to play the game for free, for nothing. For GamePass used to get to play the game for nothing, and yet I have to fucking go to a store and pay $70 for it and get nothing in return. That's bullshit. That's utter bullshit. Absolutely. I don't care what anyone's justification is, right? I was talking to Mike Be the Truth, right? Shout out to him. Like he's one of the Xbox dudes that I talked to, and he was essentially telling me that it's not really a big deal. You look at the if you look at the justification of the price and everything like that, during that time you get if you pay $70, it's a flat rate, while at the same time, if you're paying $15 a month, you're going to be paying $90 over that span during the baseball season. And I get what he's trying to say, but the thing is this, right? And mind you, I have Game Pass already, right? I already have Game Pass. I don't use it because I don't have the Xbox at my house. It's at my friend's house. But I have Game Pass, right? Here's my issue with his synopsis. And I get what he's trying to say. But the problem with his synopsis is that Game Pass is not just about MLB The Show. You know what I mean? It's a plethora of games. It's a service. It's a service you get for $15. If everyone had the justification that Mike had, then Game Pass wouldn't be as popular as it is right now. At least when it comes to popularity. I don't know how much the subscriber count is, but I'm talking about popularity as far as people who like it as opposed to people who don't like it. By and large, the only people who I've seen who don't like Game Pass are PlayStation fanboys. That's it. Right? Universally speaking, Game Pass is looked at as a success for Microsoft, right? But people don't justify it by saying, "Oh well, if I have this over time, I'm gonna have to pay this much, and I'd rather just buy the game outright." People don't look at it that way. That was the whole thing with the whole $70 price point thing that I addressed a couple months back when it came to PlayStation games. Like I said, it's not about Game Pass. No, it's not really about paying the $70. Like, I'll pay $70 for the show. Like, I don't care about that. The problem is that Xbox gamers are getting a reward while PlayStation gamers are getting screwed. And the funny thing is that the PlayStation, a company in the PlayStation umbrella is making that game. That's my biggest issue with it. Like if it was Madden, for example, if Madden was coming out day one on Game Pass, it's a huge coup for Game Pass. But if I rather play it on PlayStation, I don't have a problem paying $70 to play Madden. Like I don't have a problem with that. And it's not. I'm not gonna sit there and shit on Sony for it because that's not their game. They have nothing to do with Madden, right? Same thing goes for any other third-party game that comes out. If they want to deal with if they want to make a deal with Microsoft to bring games to Game Pass, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. And then if Sony wants to buy, like it's like if Sony wants to buy, you know, this exclusivity and that exclusivity, I don't have a problem with that either. Do what you do best for your consumers, because your consumers are people who are investing into your ecosystem, right? I don't have a problem with that. The problem that I have is that you have a company in Sony who is making a game, is making a multi-plat, and the people on the other platform are getting rewarded, and the people on the platform that's bought. And now, for me, I've bought every MLB TheShow game since I want to say 2016, right? And in general, I've been playing MLB TheShow since 2006. Right, and then what I would do, I would buy 6, and then I would buy 8, then I would buy 10, and then I would buy 12, and then I would buy 14, and then ever since then I've bought every single one. Right, like so I'm a long time player of MLB TheShow. Right, I love the franchise, one of my favorite franchises in history. But I can't look at this deal that happened and say that And I can't sit there and look at this deal and don't feel stupid that I'm paying $70 for this game while people on the Xbox don't have to pay that, right? And again, I get Mike's justification for it, but at the end of the day, and also I've seen a whole bunch of people say, oh well, Xbox people weren't gonna buy this game anyway. No, that's bullshit. Complete utter bullshit, because year after year, up until last year, I see people bitching, moaning, and complaining that this game's not on Xbox. So if you bring this game on Xbox, I guarantee you people are going to buy it. I guarantee you people are going to buy it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. Now back to what Mike's point. I get what Mike's point is, but the fact is that when you on Game Pass, the main thing with Game Pass, the main selling point on Game Pass is getting a collection of games for a cheaper price, a much cheaper price, right? You have access to 100 plus games, plus every major exclusive that Microsoft is going to come out with, which includes the recent acquisitions with Bethesda and some of the other studios that they've come out with, right? That they've bought, right? You have access to all those games for a small fee, right? When on the PlayStation side, you know, like every game is going to cost $70, and that was a big part of the selling point of Game Pass. That you don't have to pay $70 for these great games. All you gotta do is pay $15, and there you go. And the fact that Sony is making a game that's going to be there and not on and it's not going to be on PlayStation Now as of right now. As of this video, it's not going to be on PlayStation Now, that dog shit service, and it's not going to be on PlayStation Plus. That's fucking bullshit to me. That's bullshit to me, because okay, let's talk about PlayStation Now, right? Like, I don't give a shit about PlayStation Now. Like, I don't care. I've seen it used once. That service sucks, right? I don't care. I don't give a shit about PlayStation Now. In order for Sony to make this up to me, that game, MLB TheShow, has to be free on PlayStation Plus for April, or for the end of April. Like, straight up, right? I don't want to fucking subscribe to PlayStation Now. I really don't, because they don't put the care or anything into that service. So fuck them. Fuck PlayStation Now. I don't give a shit about that service. To me, it needs to be on PlayStation Plus. Because I have PlayStation Plus, right? I spent not this time around, but over the years, I spent 60 plus to renew my service, right? And by and large, it's a great especially over the years, it's done me wonders. Right? I have nothing to complain about with PlayStation Plus. When PlayStation Plus became a requirement with PS4, I was okay with it. Why? Because I played so many great games for free. I know it's not technically free. I know, I get it, but I played so many great games via the PlayStation Plus app, via PlayStation Plus, that I had no problem continue paying for that service on PS4. I didn't have a problem with it. So to me, it should be on PlayStation Plus. I don't want this to be like, I get it, that PlayStation Now is more equivalent to Game Pass, but I want it on PlayStation Plus. Right? I don't feel comfortable paying $70 for something when you put it on other platforms and it's practically free for them. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I really don't. Now, like I said, some people's theories is that MLB is the reason behind it. I mean, if you're MLB, I mean, the fact that they decided to do this on the Xbox, and not even, and they were able to strong arm Sony into making the game multiplayer, right? And yet you couldn't strong arm Sony into giving the game out for free on PlayStation Plus for the first month. Cause that's essentially what they're doing. If what is being said is true, right? If MLB is really putting this out on Xbox with the GamePass, they're the reason why this is happening, right? Why couldn't MLB do the same thing for PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now? At the end of the day, it's their product. It's their product being represented. I get it that it's only being published on Xbox, but it's their product. Everything, the whole fucking thing is MLB. And yet, they're the ones that would put it on Game Pass, but they wouldn't put that on Now or Plus. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense because I guarantee you, they could easily have put this game on, even if it was cheaper, even if it was like standard, $59.99, right? They could have done it, and it would have sold, and it would have sold, maybe not millions, but it would have sold. And again, I'm not advocating that they do it. Like, them putting the game on Game Pass is a huge win for Microsoft. But they could have done it. They could have strong armed Sony into doing something equivalent. Absolutely, they could have. Or they maybe just think that, well, they've been playing for so long, they might well just pay again next year, and then give Xbox gamers a easy access to the game, so they could give it a try, and then maybe next year they'll buy it. Like maybe that's their mindset, right? It is what it is, right? So the other theory that I have is that Sony, maybe Sony decided, I don't think this is true or not, but let's say Sony gave Microsoft this for money, for some cash, right? Again, I don't care. Like, business is business. I get that, but this is the type of business that screws over your consumers. Because I'll give you a small analogy, right? A quick analogy. Look what's going on right now with the WWE Network and Peacock, right? Now I have Peacock, right? I have Peacock. I don't use it for anything but the show like Park and Rec, The Office, and stuff like that, right? But I have Peacock. And what they did, what WWE did, is that they completely shut down their own network, and they're migrating everything to Peacock, right? They signed a big deal, and they're migrating, not everything, but they're migrating most of their stuff to Peacock, right? Now, what's happening currently is that Peacock, since it's now their content, they're deleting some problematic stuff that went on during their history, right? Like they're not migrating everything from the network onto here. Because you have to remember, the network had millions upon millions of hours of content, right? They still haven't gotten everything that they had in there, but they do have a ton of content. And they have to migrate it over to Peacock services, and right now they just haven't been able to put all the content in there. So when it migrates, you're getting a lot less content. And they're even stripping away some content due to problematic situations. So what WWE basically did to tie this all back together, WWE essentially sold out their hardcore consumers for money. And if what I'm saying is true when it comes to Sony and Microsoft, if they decided, you know what, we'll put the game on Game Pass, just give us some bread in the meantime. If you're doing that, then you just sold out your hardcore PlayStation audience by doing that. Because, like I said, what do we get? What do we get for our loyal services to not only to the PlayStation brand but also to the game? What do we get for that? You know what I mean? We get a $70 price tag. That's what we get. And to me, that's the epitome of anti-consumer. When you sell out your core consumers, the people who are willing to go out there, they buy the system, they buy the controllers, they buy the games. Those are your consumers. And when you're not dealing in their best interest, that's anti-consumer. Straight up. Even with the first scenario when it comes to MLB, you're not dealing in the best interest of your consumers. When you have this deal presented when it comes to Microsoft with Game Pass, and yet we don't get the same type of love and treatment. It's such a bad look. And the funny thing is that I was actually going to make a video, because I actually tried out the PS5 a couple days ago. My sister, she bought hers, and I tried it out. And I was also going to make a video about the state of PlayStation. But this deal is the epitome. It's the worst deal that when it comes to PlayStation that I've seen. Is the worst thing that's done to PlayStation in the past year and a half. I was going to sit here and talk about how, while I'm patient, nothing like, you look at all these moves that Microsoft is making. And I was gonna sit there and say that while I haven't been thrilled with everything going on at PlayStation, right? I'm not gonna sit there and overreact. Now, this may sound like an overreaction to some people, but yeah, I'm not happy about this. I'm not, and this had nothing to do with Microsoft. This had nothing to do with Xbox gamers. Like I said, I have nothing against them. I have nothing against them. I really don't. It had nothing to do with them. I mean, props to Microsoft for getting this deal done. This is a big victory for them, right? I have nothing against them. This is about Sony and their ineptitude in providing, valuable content to their consumers. Because I'll be real with you, despite all the nice things I have to say about the PS5, right? About the way it looks a lot better than I thought it did. It looks a lot better in person than I thought it did. The controller feels very comfortable. And the menu, I don't have a problem with the menu screen. Like, I tried it out. Like, I'm going through it. I didn't have a problem with it. I even accidentally taught my niece something when it comes to navigating the menu, right? But despite all those things, this is the least enthusiastic I've been about PlayStation since I started gaming on it when I was 12. You know what I mean? Like, this is the least enthusiastic I've been about the system. Like, the only reason why I was gonna buy a PlayStation 5 was because of MLB TheShow and the Stadium Creator. But I'll be frank, right now I'm not interested in buying one. Not interested. I'm not going to pay above market value for one. Fuck no. I'm not doing that. And even if I see one in store, I don't know if I don't feel like they deserve my money. Because when you make deals like this or you get completely outmaneuvered, that shows me that this brand is just not, they're not worth my money right now. You're just not. Right? If you're gonna sit there and get and have your own fucking game, and I don't give a shit who publishes the game, I don't care. But you have your studio, you got your name in that fucking studio, making games for the competitor, and yet the people who are gaming on the competitor are getting perks that you don't get. That is fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. And I don't care what anyone thinks about that. I don't care. Because I guarantee you, if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't be okay with it. Absolutely not, you wouldn't be okay with it. All this talk over the years about how PC gamers get all the Xbox games, but yet they don't have to pay for Xbox Live. They don't have to deal with the same bullshit that you guys do. I was here saying that you guys should be furious with Microsoft about this. When they charge you for free to play games, you should have been furious about that. Instead of bitching and complaining about crossplay, you should have been furious with the fact that they were charging you to play games for free. They play free to play games, right? Do you notice the pattern here? When the company screws over you, the consumer, which is you, the people who buy into the ecosystem, who buy the console, who buy the games, who buy the controllers, you have a right to be upset. You have a right to be mad. And frankly, right now, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I really don't want to boycott the game. I don't. Because I want to play the game. I've been playing MLB 20 for like a full year straight. And I would love to play MLB 21. But I can't support this type of bullshit at business practices. And the bullshit business practices is when you don't do your best to appease your consumers. And I can't support that. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm very much not interested in buying an Xbox either, because they haven't shown me. Because with Microsoft, they're in show me mode. Like, they can buy all the fucking studios they want, but they're in show me mode, right? When it comes to the games. But I ain't gonna lie to you. If this bullshit continues with Sony, and I see an Xbox in the store and MLB and MLB on Xbox, it would be very hard for me not to buy it on Xbox. Especially if this bullshit continues. Because like I said before, regardless of which scenario it is, and I'll leave with this. Regardless of what scenario it is, it shows me that the company, as of right now, does not have my best interest at heart. You know, it doesn't. And the trend has been going in that direction for the past, ever since the PS5 was announced. Ever since we got to look at the PlayStation, right? The PS5, right? You look at some of the downturn in Japanese support, right? You look at the downturn in indie dev support. You know what I mean? Like, I can name a handful of games that I can't play because the only system I have currently is the PlayStation 5. Like I said, my Xbox is at my friend's house. You know, I can't play my friend Pedro, right? I can't play Hades, right? There are tons of games that should be on PlayStation, but they're not on PlayStation because I don't know what the fuck Shuhei Yoshida's doing. You know what I mean? For real. I don't know what he's doing to bring. And I know there are indie games coming to the system. I get that, but the games that I want to play are not on it, and that shouldn't be a thing. Especially when it comes to the beginning of the generation, and how Sony's pride themselves on indie support, but yet that support has dwindled to the point where they're last in that regard. They're last, right? Like I see these trends, right? And I'm like, well, at some point something has to change, and then you had this news come out, and it infuriates me because, Cause I mean, what am I getting from my money? And look at what they're getting for $15. They're getting the same shit I have to pay $70 for, and that's not fair. It's not fair, and I get it. Like, I know some people are gonna sit there and listen to me and be like, "Oh, well, being a fanboy, this and that, yada yada yada." But like I said, man, I'm gonna have the link to the first video. For people who know me, who know how I am, they know that I am very rash. At least I pride myself on being rational. I really do, right? When everyone's out getting outraged over stupid shit, I like to try to be objective, right? At least the best I can, right? Like I do have like, as you can tell, I am a PlayStation guy for the most part, but I try to be rational. I try to be down the middle. Not down the middle, but I try to look at things objectively, right? Even if I skew one way or the other, I will never ever dismiss the other side unless the other side is completely stupid, right? You know what I mean? Unless the other side, I just feel like we just can't. Like, I try to be as level-headed as I can be, and I think the people who know me knows that. But I can't be level-headed with this, right? Because like I said, I've played. Let me count. Like 1, 2, right? 06, 08, 010, 012, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I've played 11 of these games. I've played 11 MLB games, right? Each time spending $60, right, on the game. Like I said, I don't mind paying $70 for the game. I really don't. But if you're going to tell me that I have to pay $70 for your game, and yet you're putting the game on other platforms, and it's going to be on their premier streaming service for $15, and then some people even get that shit for $1. Like to me, that don't sit well with me. And it's not. It has a lot more to do with with Sony and what you're giving us than it is what you're giving them. Like I said, you watch the original video, you watch the video, I hope you understand where I'm coming from this. This has nothing to do with giving Microsoft the game. Excuse me. Props to them for giving giving Microsoft the game, right? And doing right by them, right? They put cross platform play. Maybe they may have cross progression. I don't know that for a fact. I don't remember if they have it, but ultimately, you're not giving. My problem is that you're not giving your consumers anything worthwhile with this deal. We are essentially getting screwed here. We are getting screwed. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are getting screwed with this deal. And as of right now, they're tweeting all this other stupid shit and not addressing the issue. And to me, that's fucked up. But like I said, like, some things can change. You never know. Right now, if would I buy the game right now? No. I plan on buying this game on PS5, and I'm not interested in buying a PS5 right now. I don't give incompetent companies my money. And right now, Sony's acting mad incompetent right now, and I can't trust a company like that with my money, with my hard-earned money. So if it changes, I'll let you guys know. This will be 186. I'm out. Bye.
Ready with the first pitch. Here it comes. Line towards center field. Naquin is there, and he'll make the catch to retire the side. 2 in the inning for the Sox, however. They come on this 2-run home run. Last chance coming up for the Tribe. It's now 3-2 Southsiders. All set to start the 9th in this one, and that'll bring in one of the best on-base percentage players in the game, Carlos Santana. Alex Colomé comes on from the pen, hoping to finish this one off here in the top of the 9th. again, Domingo Santana. He went deep last time up.